Talking with the experts.
So Amplify DEI, it got born because my son asked me a very painful question after I explained to him what happened to George Floyd. He asked me that question, is anybody going to hurt you, Mom? Know that my son is biracial, so he's half Dutch, half I'm Ghanaian. And he was worried about my well-being, knowing that I had to literally bungee jump out of my comfort zone and say, not on my watch. I'd never want my son to be able to ask me that question, and I will do whatever is possible to make something happen. I know a lot of people around the world, especially after, having different conversations through LinkedIn, but also Twitter. And I just connected a lot of speakers together, a lot of experts together from around the world. So.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosesdavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And I'd love it if you could go over to my channel and show it a bit of love, and don't forget to tick the bell so that you know when I upload my next video. And my guest today is Vivian Acquah, and we're going to be talking about inclusive leadership and diversity, equity and inclusion. So she is also hosting an up-and-coming summit called Amplify DEI 2021 Leadership Edition, which will be held on the 27th to the 29th of September this year. And as an inclusive workplace wellness advocate, Vivian advises managers on how to keep their team members engaged, energized, and safe in a sustainable manner. She is making topics related to workplace wellness and DEI accessible to everyone. She provides people with the right tools at the right time to embrace inclusive changes. She also motivates people to think consciously and inspires them to take action. Welcome, Vivian, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I mean, I'm really excited for us to have a conversation. You are in Australia, I'm in the Netherlands, and really excited to have this conversation. Thank you.
Yes. So what does DEI stand for?
Yeah, DEI stands for diversity, equity, inclusion. And the diversity part, I am assuming that a lot of people understand that, right? Having different people, different backgrounds, different religion, different genders, different ages. But the equity part, sometimes people are a bit confusing. So let's say that your journey is different than my journey. To be able to achieve a similar job, to apply to a similar job vacancy, right? Some people need a ladder. Some people need a smaller ladder. Some people need a taller ladder to be able to apply for a job, or to be able to apply for a promotion, or to advance in their career. And that's where the equity part stands in. And inclusion, so you have the diverse people, or the people with diverse backgrounds. You have the equity part. But what are you doing to help them feel like they are part of the company, right? How are you setting the temperature right so that they will stay, and they will enjoy and have a better work relationship with the company, but also with the colleagues? That's where you can see the employee engagement going up. So that's how I explain inclusion.
Excellent. So I guess it's like the old days when we used to have equal opportunity. And then they changed that to equity and inclusion. So it's for our older listeners, that's exactly what it is. So back in the 80s, it was equal opportunity, and now it's called equity and inclusion. So just be mindful.
I do have to make a remark, because when you say equal opportunity, like I said, not the playing field is not leveled for everybody, right?
No,
So
it's not. But that was the ethos of what equal opportunity was back in the 80s when it first became a thing. And there was laws made that you couldn't discriminate against, gender or sexual orientation or all of those things. And then they decided to change the word from equal opportunity to equity and inclusion, because it made more sense, because equal opportunity didn't really explain what everything was. So
I agree. Thank you for sharing that.
That's all right. So so I'm just trying to clarify for our older listeners and viewers, because they may not know that there is really no difference. It's just, I guess, explained better in today's language, I guess. So what prompted you to become a workplace wellness advocate?
Well, it had to do with my son. So I've been a financial consultant and also an IT consultant for a very long time. But from the moment that I realized that I was pregnant, let's say I was 5 weeks pregnant, I made that announcement to my managers working in the IT environment. It wasn't well received. So from that moment that I made that announcement, till 6 months of pregnancy, I was being bullied during my pregnancy. I was being dehumanized, and I was being seen as less during my pregnancy, all because I made that announcement clear. But also the fact that I don't know how I'm going to react and how I'm going to respond when I'm pregnant, right? There are some women who go through their pregnancy with no challenges, and I had morning sickness. I felt challenged. And on top of that, I was dealing with let's say with the bullying. It caused a lot of stress. It caused me to be on the charts of my midwife warning me, saying that if you don't be mindful of your health, it will impact your son's health as well. So at the time, I really had a high blood pressure, and it was very alarming. So I left for an early maternity leave, because at the time my midwife told me, like, you need to do something about it now. So I left for early maternity leave. And when my son got born, I realized something else. I realized a lot of things, let's say a lot of hardship that I've went through, and I don't want him to deal with the similar things that I've dealt with. So basically, my son is the reason why I became a workplace wellness advocate, but also because of him, I am using workplace wellness as a Trojan horse to invite the conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, I guess it's a well-needed I guess, position in most corporations or businesses, because a lot of employers certainly don't understand. I mean, for you to be bullied for announcing your pregnancy, I can sort of relate to that, because I worked for a government agency, a law enforcement agency, and I had 3 children whilst I was there. And with my first child, it was like, it was terrible. And I had a terrible time with her. And so I can empathize very much with how, you would have been feeling at that time. And, I had a really great pregnancy with my son. It was easy peasy, and my third child was also difficult. But, I still did the things that I was told I wasn't allowed to do, because I was pregnant, I was like this delicate flower. And I said, well, go to Bugrid, because I will still continue to do my work to the best of my ability. And it used to frighten the bejesus out of them. So.
It's weird. It's weird that when we see women, we already have a label. We already have labeled women as less than men, right? And the moment that some women, when they come pregnant, we want them to stop working, or don't see that they are inadequate, don't see that they are adequate enough to be able to do the job. And it's my mission, because of my son, I feel like it's my mission to advocate for that, but also to help other people, that what you're doing, if you're bullying or if you're creating a hostile environment for a pregnant woman, they might end up losing their child. And that's not something that you want on your company or on your brand, right? You want the best environment for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Because I worked in a male-dominated environment, it was a pregnant woman was, and because it was the public service, it was still, women were still expected to leave after they had their children, and I just refused to follow the norm, and but that's just because I was stronger than they were, and I wasn't going to let them bully me out of my own job. So, but it's a bit tough in this world where positions, employment is based on gender or sexual orientation or race, and those things bother me. That's in this day and age is still going on, and we would have thought that by now. Well, this is like the 21st century. You think it'd be stamped out, but it certainly isn't. And we need more people like you to speak up about it and try and reverse that awful trend.
I am totally there with you, and thank you also for sharing that. But you also have to realize that some of the things that are happening right now has a historical lens, has a history behind it. And when people don't know the history, it's sometimes challenging for people to accept that they have to do better or that they have to work towards creating inclusion. And know that there are also people out there that fear for whatever is happening, fear for maybe losing something that they are comfortable in, but also fear for opening up Pandora's box. And I'm here to say that working towards an inclusive environment, it's not about opening a Pandora's box, or it's not about a one-night stand where you just hire somebody for training and tick off the box and think that's it. Working towards an inclusive culture, that's a continuous thing. You don't go to the gym and train only just one day and expect that you lost weight or your muscles have grown, right? So I believe that when more and more companies realize that they can win when they activate inclusion, that's for me, that's the best way to celebrate what I'm doing.
I think so, yeah. But how do we turn the world around to get people thinking that way? Because I know you're right, it's a historical behavior, it certainly is. And how do we break that chain, that cycle?
We break the cycle by at least having a conversation about it, because a lot of people feel challenged to talk about diversity, or feel challenged to talk about race, or feel challenged to talk about whatever diversity challenge there is out there. And from understanding, from conversations there, you can raise awareness, create understanding as well. But also it has to be safe, right? If people don't feel safe in an environment where they can speak up or where they can address certain things, the majority of the time when people speak up, they are seen as whistleblowers. And if you look in the past history, but also globally, what happened to whistleblowers, right? The guy from the NSA who fled to, I don't know where he fled, but he fled to England at an embassy, just to stay there because he exposed what happened with the NSA, within the NSA, right? So we need to be able to protect people who are exposing things that are harmful, not only for the company, but also for the people as well. We need to provide safe spaces.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's and as I said, in this day and age, really, it should be part of life, inclusion and diversity and equity. It should be. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody last year when I first started the podcast, based around these very certain things, but it was more based in Africa. And I just, we had similar words about, in this day and age, it shouldn't be happening, racist comments or, bullying of a pregnant woman or, bullying of a gay person, it just shouldn't happen. And it still is. And it's, to me, it's not right. And I don't know why people just don't get it. There's been enough education out there in the world in the last 10, 20 years that this type of behaviour should have been stamped out a long time ago. So we've obviously got some very stubborn people.
Yes, there are, but luckily there are tools to help them understand how hurtful their words can be, how hurtful microaggression can be, right? Even the word, I don't believe in the word microaggression, because I feel like when you are sticking your hand into a beehive and all the bees are stinging you, right? It's not micro, it will be felt on a macro level as well. So we have to realize what we say, what we do, but also think about the other person. Would you agree if you say something that's maybe offensive as a joke, or maybe culturally offensive, right? You could lose clients, you could lose so many things, you could lose talent. And I want to prevent that. Understanding that there are cultures, there are different cultures, and we are working remotely now, it's more even important to understand that we have differences, but also let our differences combine us, connect us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 2 years ago, Zoom meetings were like something that you just did because, you just couldn't get to a meeting or whatever. But now they're a necessity. And, quite honestly, it saves the company heaps of money. You don't have to pay for traveling. You don't have to pay for morning tea. You don't have to pay for accommodation. So, I'm glad that people are embracing it now. But, and I think it will be the new normal in the future. I'd like to talk.
It will be though, but yet there are still companies out there that are demanding their people to come to the office, at least in some parts of the world.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but I don't know. I think they like to micromanage people too much, and don't trust their employees, basically. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about your summit, if you don't mind. It's happening in September. Could you tell me, what's happening, what's included, if it's, a paid event, a free event? And I'd like to share any links or any information about that, if that's okay.
Yes, that's definitely okay. So Amplify DEI, it got born because my son asked me a very painful question after I explained to him what happened to George Floyd. He asked me that question, is anybody going to hurt you, Mom? Know that my son is biracial, so he's half Dutch, half I'm Ghanaian. And he was worried about my well-being, knowing that I had to literally bungee jump out of my comfort zone and say, not on my watch. I'd never want my son to be able to ask me that question, and I will do whatever is possible to make something happen. I know a lot of people around the world, especially after, having different conversations through LinkedIn, but also Twitter. And I just connected a lot of speakers together, a lot of experts together from around the world. So last year, I managed to have a summit with 69 international people. And when I say international, I mean Asia, Europe, Africa, US, Canada as well. I ended up with 900 attendees, 900 plus. This year, I'm going to excel beyond my reach. I do have a team, so I'm not totally crazy. I am a little bit crazy, but this year I have 89 speakers. And when I say it's the best ever, because I have people from New Zealand, Australia, Asia as well, United Emirates, South Africa, Europe is well represented, US and Canada is well represented. But I also have somebody from Argentina, Barbados, Curacao.
Well 89 people. Excellent.
89 people.
Wow, no wonder it's over like 3 days.
It's all packed in 3 days. Also because I want people to invest in the 12-month ticket. So you asked me a question about, is it free, is it paid? It's a freemium. So the people that are accessing the summit, they will be having the opportunity to connect with the speakers through the behind the scenes. There's an option where you can learn more about the speaker, also a personal aspect of why they are passionate about their topic, but also just for you to get a little snack of their presentation. That's what I did it for. But if you want to see their actual talk or the actual presentation and learn more, there are 2 tickets available. One ticket is for 16 days and one ticket is for 12 months. And I am giving 10 tickets away for the Amplify DEI for the 16 days access. So I don't know what kind of giveaway you want me to share, but I will give away 10 tickets to Rose so that she can decide whoever is going to show up. And all you need to do is, I guess, why do you want to amplify DEI?
Wow. Okay. That's a very generous. Thank you so much, Vivian. That's wow. So yeah, listen up, people. I'll be putting that out very soon. And first 10 people, I guess. For 10 people, I'll choose 10 people to get a ticket to this beautiful event. Wow, it's really exciting. Thank you.
It is.
So we'll probably. Did you send me a link to that?
I will. After our conversation, I will, definitely.
Terrific. All right, but I'll hassle you on LinkedIn and we'll get talking about it. That'll be great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So have you written any books or, started a podcast or haven't got time or?
Yes. I do have a vlog or a podcast. It's called Let's Humanize the Workplace. And that's the starting point where I met the majority of the speakers as well. So ever since, I think somewhere around October 2019, I used to have a weekly show called Let's Humanize the Workplace, where I would invite maybe one guest or maybe 4 guests. And the highest that I've done is 8 guests at the same time, having a conversation about what's needed to let's humanize the workplace. So it's because of Let's Humanize the Workplace that I managed to do so many speakers, but also knowing that I wanted to create a ripple effect towards inclusion, and knowing that to do that, I also need fellow advocates as well. So this is a way of us uniting ourselves, aligning ourselves, and creating that ripple effect. And every year, making that ripple effect bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. If you need a hand with anything, you know where I am. So
thank you.
Love to be involved. I'm so passionate. I mean, I'm very passionate about equity and inclusion. It's I have been for such a long time. So yeah,
I already have the sign up link for 2022 ready. So if you say that you're ready, then sign up.
Yeah, you just pop it my way and I shall have a look.
I will.
All right, Vivian, anything that you would like to share with our viewers and listeners today that would some advice, some little tidbits or tip or whatever? Please, the floor is yours.
The advice that I would like to share is find a way to amplify DEI within your own comfort zone. And one way to do that, I love to integrate LinkedIn on that. LinkedIn has a name pronunciation feature. A lot of people aren't aware of that feature yet, but this feature is a way for you to, via your mobile, is a way for people to learn how to pronounce your name. But also, if people have activated that, your clients maybe, you will be able to learn how to pronounce the name instead of making the huge step on the pinky toe mistake by pronouncing the name in a wrong way. So look it up, LinkedIn name feature of name tool. It's on the phone and you can add that on your profile as well.
Ah, lovely. All right. That's something I didn't know. So I don't use my phone for much else, but other than for the phone, but I will add that feature to my LinkedIn mobile app. Thank you for sharing that. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and getting to know you, and I will track you down on LinkedIn and we'll send you a connection link. Yeah, lovely. It's been lovely talking to you, and good luck with the summit. I wish you all the best with that. It sounds absolutely amazing, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Thank you, Rose. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Vivian.